Hello everybody, welcome to World Without Rule of Law and welcome to the Southern Virginia Homestead. Today I want to show you what we're doing for rain catchment to water the garden. I got these IBC totes, they're 275 gallons a piece. On Amazon.com I got a hose and a fitting that goes into the leader. It even comes with a little fitting to tie it into a drill and put it into a bucket like this if you wanted to. I just take the top off the IBC, tie wrap a screen like a netting to catch debris, and I just fill it off the gutter. And the nice thing about it is you hole saw into the leader. The fitting is soft rubber and it just sticks. You stuff it in and it unfolds, and the water just it catches coming down the leader. When the tote is filled, it backs up into the leader, and there's a hole in the center of that fitting, and it just goes down, and the gutter works as it originally was designed to, as it did prior to the rain catchment. So you don't have to cut the leader, and once the tote is filled, it will still function as normal. It'll just spill out. It actually is tied into a curtain drain, which isn't very well because it floods the basement, but it goes into the ground. So I've got this one, and I've got another one which isn't set yet, but I'm going to set it probably today, and I'm going to attach it with a hose. The reason I'm holding off is because what I do now is this bucket, this barrel, I don't know if you could really tell, but the camera's downhill a little. I set it down there, and as long as the level's up, I can gravity feed it. When it goes down to a certain level, I have to use a pump. And so if I set this one and attach this hose now and open the valves, it'll even out and the water level will be lower. So I'll need the pump sooner. So I'm holding off till I drain that down. Haven't gotten any rain for a while. It's pretty hot. About a month ago or so, we got about 18 inches of rain in a week. It just poured and just kept raining. I actually filled up this one, and this one was sitting down here, and I just had it with a hose extended down temporarily, filled both of them and filled that. So close to 600 gallons. I've been trying not to use the well, and what I've got left is about 200 gallons. So we're praying for rain. But on a good soaking, it takes about 50 gallons or more to water the garden. I'll show you what I'm doing up there. But I can't fill this either because I strap it to the loader, and the strap is down here because that's where the top rim of the loader is. And so if I fill it too high, when I'm bouncing along, it'll flop out of the strap and fall down. That's actually how it cracked up here on top. So it's still usable, but I only fill it to here. So on a good soaking, I'll have to come back and fill it twice. So it's a little work, but it's manageable. So once I get this set and get that, hopefully we'll get enough rain to keep sustaining this. As I said, it's a little bit of a chore because I got to pump it with, I have a transfer pump, and once the level goes down, and make 2 trips up, soak the garden. I'm growing in containers, so that's challenging for the rainwater catchment. Now let me take you up there, show you what we got. Alright, let's see. It's glaring in the viewfinder, so I can't really see, but hopefully you'll be getting this. I have this IBC tote here, and it's elevated so that I can gravity feed with the hose. It's made a hose fitting connector for it. The problem is that this even filled like up to this first bar is approximately 75 gallons. So I filled about 100 gallons in here, thinking I would get 2 waterings. And one time I stepped off the loader down there when I was loading it, and the back wheels of the tractor came off the ground. And I got a Kubota 2650. It's not a big tractor, but it's not a real small one either. Although I guess it is on the smaller side, but it's not just like a lawn tractor. And I have the fork set up for it. I could show you that too, but it was just a little bit too much weight. And so when I reduce the amount of water, I have to put the forks, I have the forks that clamp onto the bucket. I have to put them on and move it and all that. It just was more work, so I ended up going to that 50-gallon barrel that I showed you down there. It actually ends up being easier to do. So eventually I'm going to drag this tote out of here. My goal is, I have another tote behind the shed. I want to put gutters on the shed and have another rainwater collection system there. And or if I get to build the greenhouse, I'm gonna eventually. It's just so much to do, and I'm trying to renovate the interior of the house and do all that. Like, another thing is a fence, right? Like, I want to put a fence around all this. I could lose everything one night to deer or whatever. But until, we only have a limited budget to work with, and we're trying not to take out debt. So until the house is finished, I can't really allocate any money to it, and so the risk is I might lose some of the crop, which this is my first year here anyway, and so it's questionable what I'm going to get anyway. So I'm still learning, and it's just a risk we have to take. We weighed it with the benefits of the cost and risk benefit, however you want to say it. We just can't allocate any money really to out here until we finish the inside, and that's just our personal decision, because we didn't want to put stuff on credit card or take debt or whatever. So I'm okay with all that anyway, but I digress. Back to the water. So what was happening was, in these containers, the water, when I watered, they would, it would fill up and come out the weep holes on the bottom, right? There's drainage holes, and so that's okay. That's just what happens. So I tried watering a little less and just going around and coming back and watering it all again a second time, and a lighter, that way it wouldn't have as much excess. It would have a chance to soak in, but some of it still found its way out the weep holes. And what was happening was, I would come back. It's 10:30 now today, and it's 93 degrees. So I would come back by noon, and they would all be drooped, and the soil in the containers would be baked dry. So I had some leftover mulch I got from the power company, which that's a whole other thing, but I did a rant on that already. But I was able to get one load. So what I had left over after I'm trying to prepare this area to do back to Eden in the next year or two, whenever it's ready. And I took the leftovers and I put them in these buckets to try to mulch it. Then when I found that the peppers were drooping and they were just literally being baked dry from the sun, the soil, I went down and I I hate to buy stuff, but sometimes you have to. $24. I got a load of double ground, untreated, undyed mulch. And I filled all these buckets with at least a couple inches. I got to go back and refill a couple like that one. And the squash, I got to put some in those too. Those do have the original mulch from the power company, but it's not as thick the layer as I need. Now already, today, oh, look at that. I got a tomato in there that looks like it's almost ready. And tomatoes are setting fruit, and a lot of them are green, so hoping for some good tomato crop. Already, by now, today, this time of day, yesterday when I checked it, they were already drooping considerably from the sun, baking the soil out. And I went yesterday afternoon and got the mulch, and then last evening I put it all in the pails. I still have to, as I said, redo a few, but you could see already today they look a lot better. They're not droopy. Now, will they be drooping at 4 o'clock? I don't know, but yesterday they were drooping at 10 o'clock, so I feel like the mulch has made a difference. And two things. I want to try to conserve water. I want to try to water just out of my water system without using the well, especially if I'm using 50 gallons to 70 gallons watering every 2 days. So water conservation. So, and then because we're in buckets, and this is something to consider if you're thinking of growing in containers, you can have great success and there's a lot of advantages to it, but one of the disadvantages is it dries out and the water drains out, whereas like if the plants are in the ground, they can find the water, the roots can branch out and find the water better. In here they're limited to what they have in the bucket, and as I said, when you pour it in, it leaks out, and so they're just not getting enough. I think the mulch is going to help. It seems like it already is. So that's about it. That's my rain catchment system. It's going to, hopefully in the future, it's going to improve when I get my system on the shed in the fall, hopefully, or sometime over the winter. I want to build a greenhouse in the back lot, and then that'll be another area that I can catch water off of. I've got altogether 4 of these totes, so if I can get them going in various locations, I'm hoping that I can get ahead of it and catch enough rain to keep me going. Now, if it doesn't rain and I run out, which I got about enough in the totes to last me maybe a week or so, a couple weeks, then I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Squash plants are doing good. I got a lot of flowers. I only have one. Ooh, actually it's grown quite a bit. Wow, it grew a lot since yesterday. There's the one, the squash. It's in there somewhere. I don't know if you can see it. I can't even see the viewfinder on the camera because of the sun. And I got another little one right there. So that's fairly new. But looks like maybe we'll get a couple squash. I got some eggplant, some zucchini. Got some cantaloupe and some watermelon. As I said, I got a lot of flowers. They haven't set any fruit yet, but we'll see. See where it goes. These over here got flowers, but no fruit either. Tomatoes are doing pretty well. Got a lot of these cayenne peppers. Quite a few of them on there. Hopefully I'm catching these. As I said, I can't see the viewfinder. Peppers are doing good, and I think if I can keep the sun from baking the soil, from what I know, which I'm certainly not an expert, peppers like the heat, so I think if I can keep the sun from baking dry, I'm going to be in good shape. And look at that, got a little cherry tomato there too. Alright, that's it. Thanks for coming along. I appreciate you all. God bless you. So I'm going to show you this too. Up here we got the start of my compost pile. So I made this bay wide enough to get the loader in here. Not that I need it now, but my goal is hopefully to get it filled up. And so I'm trying to decide. I got some wood chips in there, and I've been putting grass clippings, and then of course in the fall I'll put all the crunched up leaves, mulched up leaves. And will it be soil ready for next year? I don't know, probably not. But I've been adding my coffee grounds to it. Now what I think I'm going to do with this is not put my kitchen scraps in it, because it'll attract rodents and other critters, right? So what I think I want to do with the kitchen scraps is start a vermicomposting bin and get some red wigglers, and been kind of researching different designs, and so that's kind of in the works. My wife's due to come down in July permanently. She's wrapping up her job up in Connecticut, and she'll be down another month. So we really haven't had a lot of kitchen scraps, and won't until she gets here. Number one, we don't even have our appliances in yet. I just got the water running in the sink the other day, so we haven't really been producing. I've been just like living like a refugee kind of off of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and soup and tuna fish sandwiches. And my neighbor has a great garden. He's been bringing over veggies. I've been just eating those raw and doing what I can on the gas grill. So we haven't had a lot of kitchen scraps. My wife eats real healthy, and as a result, when she's with me, I eat healthier too, because she makes really healthy lunches and dinners, and I'll have at least one salad every single day. And so with that comes a lot of kitchen scraps. And so when we get in swing for that, I'll have to figure out what I'm doing with the worms and get that all going. So I'm really thinking that I don't want to put that stuff in here just because of the rodents and all that whole issue. That's it. Thanks again.